You are listening to Next Step to Success.
Project Kuponya.
Project Kuponya.
Project Kuponya.
Project Kuponya. Project Kuponya means to me to heal from within the community.
What it is, y'all, it's me, your girl, Jazzy, and we are at Music Theory Studios in beautiful downtown Norfolk with Next Step to Success. We have one of their site managers right here in the building, Mr. Mohammed.
How you doing?
How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm blessed.
And we have two new visitors, well, actually reoccurring visitors. Good to see you again for episode 3. Please say your names.
My name is DeMonte and I'm 13.
My name is Lorraine and I'm 15. It's great to be here today.
Hey, Miss Lorraine. So we got 15, we got 13. What grades are those?
9th.
8th.
So explain to me what it's like being in school right now.
It's stressful, really. Why? For me, it's the work, really, but also it's being in class every day and then there's something happening. It's always like, well, not always, but there's a issue or a situation and now they're having to do more protocols and stuff and it's making it harder on the students because of individuals who make it harder for the people who actually are doing the right thing.
Let's build on that real quick, though. So, a lot of people think that you guys don't get homework anymore. Is that true?
No.
Oh, no.
Let's go ahead and nay that. You guys still get homework, correct?
Oh, very much so. Very much so.
A lot of homework. And so any type of stress outside of regular school is going to affect anything you're doing outside of it, hence homework. Correct?
Yeah.
So you were saying that it gets difficult with all of the extra issues that you have going on top of your workload. What are these other issues that could be affecting the most important job that you have right now, which is your education?
For me, it's how I feel, being able to be mentally stable, have time for myself.
Yeah.
That's big.
That's a big thing. And what issues around other people, when you're saying that you guys now have new policies and procedures and all of these things in place, what were these put in place for?
It was, I guess, to keep us safe because there were students coming into other school buildings where they weren't supposed to be at. There was a parent who got into a student's school as well. They have put metal detectors out because of, I guess, the recent gun shootings at school as well. Mm-hmm. So they've been using metal detectors. They now have teachers posted at the doors. Okay. So that way the students can't get in, but they let students out, though. But
it's scary.
They got to come in through the second floor. But I didn't understand what that did. If they can just come in through the second floor, it's not like they're identifying the people either.
Mm-hmm. And your mind is thinking about that. It's thinking about your safety. That's what it sounds like to me, right? So I grew up in Jersey. It's a little bit different. We did have metal detectors, but I didn't get metal detectors until my junior year or my sophomore year. And it changed everything.
Yeah, I would say the same thing for me. I grew up in New York, but they were from the very beginning.
You see, we didn't have them. We didn't get until, I think it was my sophomore year, but it changed the energy in the school. And then once they put those metal detectors in, no one trusted no one. We didn't trust the teachers. We were angry at them, in fact. We felt that they were invading our privacy. We didn't trust the police that were there. We also didn't trust our friends, kind of, because you didn't know who was going to tell if you still had your phone, even though you weren't allowed to have it. It became a new world order at school. And I agree with you when, Lorraine, when you said, it made it hard to stay focused because you had all these outside elements pouring in. We're not even talking about what was going on in my home, right? We're not even talking about what's going on in you guys' houses. We're just talking about what's going on outside. When you have those issues of violence at school, what does that make you guys feel like inside?
It makes me feel a lot of things that I can't really put into words, but it definitely makes me feel some type of way against how people act.
A lot of different feelings. What about you?
Considering this school that I go to now isn't public school, I see less violence. But the time that I did see violence, people, they just fight over nothing. Or it's violence for no reason. It'd be over the smallest thing. They could have just simply said, oh, I'm sorry for doing that and make you feel the type of way.
And if you don't mind me asking, how do you guys adapt daily to knowing that your environment will not be the same when you're returning back to school?
For me, I ignore it in a way. I shut it out. But I know it's still there.
Subconsciously.
It's at the back of my mind. I know it's still there, but, I push it off to the side.
Usually, I try not to engage in conversation about it because I feel like there's no reason to talk about violence. Like, it's just a common issue. It shouldn't be a common issue, but it is. It shouldn't be talked about like it's something that you should be talking about.
Let's talk about how you handle these emotions. What do you do after you've identified and isolated the situation and you've removed yourself? After you've spoken up and you told maybe a Mr. Muhammad or your aunt or an adult, then what? What is next in this step of healing so that you can better find confidence and less anxiety in yourself?
I would say try and engage in activities that would take your mind off of it.
I like that.
For me, only reason that I'm usually somewhat happy at home is because of the fact that I can hop on the game with my friends and talk to them about like how the day is, how the game is going, different stuff about that.
For me, it's the same thing, but it's different because the activities that I like to do, I like to watch anime.
Nice.
Really just TV in general.
So that's what you do. Those are activities. Well, I think another activity you guys do without even knowing it is you're participating in Next Step to Success, which is ultimately filling in that void of time where you'd have alone. And I think that that's something that we need to say. I never try to be clinical, but I need to say that you guys aren't even aware, but over 72% of young kids are coming out of school and they have nothing to do. They have nowhere to go. They either financially can't afford it, they have no transportation to it, or they don't even have any parental supervision where they care. So imagine having a bad day, being bullied, then seeing a fight on your way home, getting home, and there being nobody to talk to about that. What would you say to maybe a friend that was dealing with that you didn't even know? What advice would you give them?
Personally, I would say to go out and try and find people that you can relate to. Because if you speak to those people that you can relate to, they most likely, based off what they do, it could help you also heal from that traumatic stress.
So what you just did is one of the most powerful things in the world. And it's when you share your story, you actually heal yourself, right? In religion, they call it sharing your testimony. In life, we just say we shared our story. But in retrospect, just you guys sitting here telling me that, you didn't know it, but those tears were probably healing tears. Because when you speak about it, you are identifying what you went through, and you're now able to put a name on it. And you can kind of heal from it.
Yeah, you're purifying yourself. You know, when you cry.
Good word.
In the practice that I currently facilitate on a recurring basis, they call that purging, right? You're letting go of that negative energy to bringing that new energy in, right? That energy that you need to get through your day to day.
I love that.
And in the process, while sharing with those individuals, you're helping them grow in the process as well. Because you don't realize that other people might be looking for the same space. And I think maybe that comfort in you sharing your piece says, you know what, I can share it with this person and I can share it with this person. And now you've developed a sense of initiation within those that you call your friends or your colleagues. And hopefully in that process, it becomes the journey, right? The beginning stages of healing.
And I love that he said activities. So in life, right, as adults, we're taught keep our head down and work. You'll get there. You'll get to that place, right? But what you said was really what a lot of us do on a daily basis, right? Is I can't focus on the fighting. I can't focus on the violence. I got to focus on something else. And so I need to find an extra activity, an extracurricular activity, something else. Relaxing in a Zen place, watching TV, hanging out, playing music, whatever it might be, to remove that anxiety.
Absolutely.
And so the activities are important. And to me, it all really just folded itself in one, because what not a better place for your youth than to be at Next Step to Success during those times when most kids are by themselves until parents come home.
Yeah.
And I feel like being busy there, sharing what you guys are going through, and having those activities are going to keep you moving forward and not allow you to sit in it. Somebody just said that to me recently. Don't sit in it. So can I tell you guys something? We're going to have a real conversation, right?
Go for it.
You know that when you have a lot of bad days, you got to figure out how to ration those bad days. And the reason why I'm talking to you about this is because I know a bad day. The best advice she gave me was, you got to put a time limit on it. So for example, you get to be sad about this for 5 days. You get 5 days. On a Friday, it's over. So cry every day if you want for the next 5 days about what you're upset about. But on that 5th day, it's over. and now you got to move forward. I think the problem that a lot of us face, Mohammed, nobody allows us the time to heal. I don't feel that she had time to heal.
No.
And I know it because I felt it. While she sat here and told me her story, she was healing it.
Absolutely.
Right? And I'm getting chills as I'm saying that to you. But we don't give ourselves no time. Yeah. We want to get our head bashed in, go home, and wake up tomorrow and do the same thing.
And do the same thing all over again.
But it's not, mentally, that's not going to happen.
And I would say that what you're saying connects with what DeMonte was saying earlier. So like giving it an expiration date now allows you the time to refocus. Because when you refocus, you replace. And when you replace, you reintroduce yourself in the lens that you want to be seen.
Ooh, the 3 R's. I like that. Say that again.
I said that when you refocus, you replace. And when you replace, you reintroduce yourself in the lens now that you want to be seen.
Listen, that's an aha Oprah moment, okay? Okay? Because I'm being real. You got to put a time limit on it. And so the reason I do that is because I've learned I got to sit in it. I got to feel my feelings, and no one is going to take that from me.
It's what works for you.
You got to do it. You got to heal in yourself. So you can't, just because you're sad doesn't mean you got to be mean and nasty to everybody that comes in your world, right?
Yeah, there's a saying, right? Say what you mean, but don't say it mean.
Ooh, I see we're just dropping gems, y'all. Bloop, another coin, okay? I'm just keeping it real. And I think if maybe I can give that to you guys and our listeners, it's okay to feel your feelings, and it's okay to sit in it, and it's okay for it to not make sense, and it's okay to be hurt, and it's okay for no one to have the right answers. That's the biggest thing I learned coming up the way I did. No one had an answer. Even when I spoke with someone and I told them everything, it still wasn't going to fill it in. Right? I had to do that work. And sometimes you just got to sit in it, you know? So if I could leave you guys with that, hopefully that helped a little bit. You know, give yourself some time to fill it. But I think we're learning a lot here. So in our first episode of this Project Kuponya, we're learning the key to healing is first to identify and isolate the issue and remove yourself. You all on board with that? Can't just shake your head on radio.
Definitely.
That was good.
That was a good one, yeah.
That was so cute. And then the second thing is speak up. Like Mohammed said, find an adult, find a friend that's older than you that has actually been through it, right? It is the worst when you try to go talk to somebody and they ain't been through what you've been going through.
It is.
And they try to give you advice.
Yeah.
What?
Crazy.
It's crazy. That's the only way to explain it. You just look at them like, I shouldn't even have talked to you. So it is important that you find the right.
Absolutely.
The right adult. And what would be some keys to making sure you found a safe adult to speak to? Because we didn't really jump on that. If you could share that with us, Mohammed.
So I think when you're looking for that confidant, right? The person that you can build the trust in is, first of all, are they giving you the time you need, right? And are they listening to hear, or are they listening to speak? And then once you've developed that are they coming back to check on you, right? So you can share a bunch of things that are going on, whether it's around bullying, whether it's around any form of violence, but is the person genuine in their approach? And if not, then you have to realize at that point, like Ms. Jazz said earlier, what's the expiration date on that person? Now you need to move on to that next individual who might be able to support you. So I think those are some of the key points when you're looking at speaking to adults, that it has to make sense, right? To you, not to the adult.
And I would say the biggest thing for me, though, Mohammed, was when I was that age, it was the trust.
Yeah.
And making sure that you choose someone that you can trust.
Absolutely.
Because as a young lady, it is hard to figure out who can be a trustful person. And so I agree with sometimes you don't want to talk to your parents. But sometimes we don't have parents to talk to, even if we wanted it. So in some of our instances where there was no parents in the home, there was no adult supervision, what do you do then? And I would say exactly what Mohammed, find someone that actually checks in on you and does that follow-up. Not that I'm going to pray for you and you may never hear from them again, you know? But it's something for us to think. And I think our third takeaway for the healing process is going to be introduce activities.
Yeah.
Get involved. That's the better way. Number 3 is going to be get involved. Get involved. Do some things, right?
Even if it's just going outside for a bit.
Come on. Getting some fresh air.
You know, that's big because when you do that, you're not running away from the problem, right? You're developing that sense of courage, and you're also being more aware when you're giving yourself, again, that time. Going out into your community.
What does running away from a problem look like?
Oh, my goodness. For me, in my experience, running away from a program is acting like it doesn't exist. It's being able to
putting it off.
That's another one. Absolutely. What about you, DeMonte?
Me, I just play the games with my friends or go to sleep.
Okay.
You shut down. That's your way of just putting it off. If I can leave you with one thing as we close off and it connects with what we're doing, remember that everything that you do has to have an intention. So do it for a cause and never because, right? Do it because for you, it makes sense, not because it makes sense for the next person that's coming along.
I think it makes sense for me to, be in my activity and be immersed, but only for a limited amount of time because there's still things that I definitely have to do. So you can make time for your activity, but you also got to make time for the other stuff that you got to do.
Absolutely.
And we're going to just mic drop it on that one right there. She just sunned us all. All right. And a beautiful episode closed for today. Project Kuponya in full effect. Thank you. Later.
Thank you.
This podcast was brought to you by Next Step to Success and Music Theory Studios.